Have you ever wondered what lies beneath one of the most beautiful cities in the world? Beneath the elegant streets, luxury cafes, and glowing lights of Paris, there is another city, a hidden world of tunnels stretching for miles beneath the ground, a place filled not with people, but with the remains of millions. Skulls stacked perfectly against ancient stone walls, bones arranged into endless corridors. Silence so deep it feels unnatural. This is not fiction. This is not a horror movie. This is the Paris Catacombs, one of the most disturbing, mysterious, and unforgettable places on Earth. At first, Paris appears exactly as you would imagine. Romantic streets, historic architecture, crowded avenues, and famous landmarks attracting millions of visitors every year. But few people realize that directly beneath their feet lies a massive underground labyrinth hiding one of the darkest chapters in the city's history. The entrance itself feels deceptively ordinary. A small doorway leading underground. Nothing dramatic, nothing terrifying. But the deeper you descend, the more the atmosphere changes. The air becomes colder, heavier. The sounds of the city slowly disappear until only silence remains. Then you see it, the first skull. And suddenly, everything changes. Long walls made entirely of human bones stretch endlessly into the darkness. Femurs, skulls, ribs, and vertebrae are stacked in carefully organized patterns, creating a haunting underground monument unlike anything else in the world. The Paris catacombs contain the remains of more than 6 million people. 6 million. That number is almost impossible to comprehend. To understand why these tunnels exist, you have to go back centuries. During the late 18th century, Paris faced a terrifying problem. The city's cemeteries had become dangerously overcrowded. Bodies were buried on top of one another in massive open graves, creating unbearable smells, spreading disease, and contaminating water supplies. One cemetery in particular became catastrophic. Heavy rainfall caused parts of its walls to collapse, spilling decomposing human remains directly into nearby streets and buildings. The situation had become impossible to ignore. Authorities needed a solution, and beneath Paris they found one. For centuries, limestone quarries had been carved beneath the city to provide stone for buildings and monuments. These abandoned tunnels stretched for miles underground, creating an enormous hidden network beneath Paris. The decision was made to transfer the dead into these tunnels. Night after night, carts carrying human remains moved silently through the streets of Paris. Priests accompanied the process with prayers as millions of bones were transported underground and carefully arranged within the catacombs. What began as a practical solution eventually became something far more surreal. An underground city of the dead. Walking through the tunnels today feels deeply unsettling. The narrow corridors seem endless, illuminated only by dim lights casting long shadows against the walls of bones. Every turn reveals another chamber, another arrangement of skulls staring silently from the darkness. Some walls are arranged with artistic precision, creating patterns and shapes from human remains. Others appear chaotic and overwhelming, reminding visitors of the unimaginable number of lives hidden underground, and perhaps that is what makes this place so disturbing. These are not replicas. These are real people, real lives, real histories. Some belong to ordinary citizens, others to revolutionaries, victims of disease, forgotten workers, and perhaps even individuals who witnessed some of the most important moments in French history. Above ground, Paris represents beauty, art, romance, and elegance. Below ground, the catacombs reveal mortality in its rawest form. The contrast is impossible to ignore. As you continue deeper into the tunnels, the silence becomes almost oppressive. The air is cool and damp, and the smell of stone and earth surrounds you constantly. In some sections, the ceiling feels dangerously low. In others, the tunnels open into massive underground chambers disappearing into darkness. It is easy to understand why the catacombs have inspired so many legends, myths, and horror stories. Over the years, countless rumors have emerged about what happens underground. Some explorers claim they heard whispers echoing through empty tunnels. Others describe feelings of being watched despite being completely alone. There are stories of people getting lost for hours, even days, within the endless maze beneath Paris. And in some cases, those stories are real. The catacombs are far larger than most people realize. The public section open to visitors represents only a tiny fraction of the full underground network. Hidden beyond restricted areas lies a massive labyrinth extending for hundreds of kilometers beneath the city. Unofficial explorers, known as cataphiles, secretly enter forbidden sections of the tunnels despite the dangers. Some organize underground gatherings, hidden art installations, and even secret cinemas deep beneath Paris. Imagine discovering an entire hidden world beneath one of the busiest cities on Earth. A world untouched by sunlight. A world frozen in time. But the catacombs are not only terrifying, they are also strangely fascinating. There is something deeply human about this place. Standing among millions of bones forces you to confront mortality in a way modern life often avoids. Here, wealth, status, power, and fame disappear. Everyone eventually becomes equal within these walls. The catacombs become less about fear and more about perspective. Many visitors describe an emotional reaction they did not expect. Some feel anxiety. Others experience sadness, reflection, or even peace. The tunnels create a strange awareness of time itself. Entire generations reduced to silent remains beneath a modern city that continues moving above them every day. And yet, despite the darkness of its history, the catacombs have become one of the most visited attractions in Paris. Why? Because human beings are drawn to mystery. We are fascinated by places that challenge our comfort and force us to confront the unknown. The catacombs are not beautiful in the traditional sense, but they are unforgettable. Few places on Earth create such a powerful emotional response. The deeper you go, the more surreal the experience becomes. Some tunnels are so quiet you can hear your own heartbeat echoing off the walls. Others contain plaques with cryptic messages written centuries ago. One inscription near the entrance reads, "Stop. This is the Empire of Death." And once you enter, you understand why. Even temperature plays a role in the atmosphere. The tunnels remain cold year-round, creating a constant sensation that time has stopped underground. While the city above changes endlessly with traffic, fashion, technology, and modern life, the catacombs remain silent and unchanged, almost eternal. There is also a psychological effect to being underground for extended periods. Without sunlight or natural orientation, many people lose their sense of direction surprisingly quickly. The tunnels begin to feel infinite, repetitive, almost dreamlike. It becomes easy to imagine how someone could disappear here. And in some rare cases, people actually have. Stories of missing explorers have only intensified the mystery surrounding the catacombs. Some legends may be exaggerated, but the fear feels real when surrounded by endless darkness and walls of skulls. Yet despite all the fear and mystery, the catacombs remain a masterpiece of history, engineering, and human survival. They transformed a public health catastrophe into one of the most surreal underground sites on Earth. They are horrifying, they are fascinating, and they are impossible to forget. Perhaps that is why millions continue descending into the darkness every year. Not simply to see bones, but to experience something deeper. A confrontation with history, with mortality, with silence, and with the unsettling realization that beneath every great city, there are stories hidden in the dark. The Paris catacombs are more than tunnels filled with bones. They are a hidden world beneath one of the most famous cities on Earth, a place where history, death, mystery, and human emotion collide in the most haunting way imaginable. They remind us that beneath beauty often lies darkness, and beneath modern civilization lie forgotten stories waiting to be discovered. Would you dare to walk through the underground city of 6 million skeletons? Tell me in the comments what disturbed you the most, the endless tunnels, the walls of skulls, or the idea of an entire hidden world beneath Paris. And if you want to continue exploring the most mysterious, terrifying, and unbelievable places on Earth, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the world is full of secrets, and some of them are buried underground.